in a co-op spellcasting adventure. With a brand new story and artifacts that mean a different experience each time you play Magicka 2.
We've learned to spell again with Magicka 2 here at the Paradox Convention, and I gotta say, like, what we got hands on with here at the show was so much more fleshed out. There's been a lot of things that have been going on since it was first playable at Gamescom, and you announced it at E3. Can you tell us a little bit how the game has been fleshed out since?
We've been doing a lot of polishing since. Actually, many things that were there then, we just colored it, polished it, and made more of it. New today is that we actually got to play the artifacts, which is this game mutators that lets you enhance the part of the game that you want to enhance. Basically, it's your house rules. I kind of like the idea that we don't tell you how to play our game. If you want to play in a different way, then you're free to do. I mean, if you want to put on 300% extra movement speed, be immune to fire, turn off healing element, teleport on every kill you do, so you just randomly teleport all over the place, or teleport to the kill location. I mean, there's so much you can do, so much you can tweak in the campaign and the challenges. You can play your own game, and you can enhance the part of Magicka you like the most, whether you want it more hardcore, easier, or if you just want to make it weird, like hearing the audience laugh at you in the background. That's all up to you. I mean, you can enhance the part of Magicka that you like the most.
It is, and of course you can do that to any part of the game, but you have these challenges as well. That perhaps a good illustration of what that means. How do you sort of structure that? Do you have any sort of structure other than people just doing what they think is fun? Do you try to incentivize it with trophies and achievements, or how do you?
There will be lots of achievements. There are lots of achievements. Some secret ones. I dare you to find them. Also, the challenges. The ambition right now is to bake them into the challenges. We'll see what we can do with that, but one possibility would be maybe, say you reach phase 9 out of 20, and we turn off your healing element for that phase. Or maybe we boost the death damage by 500%. You know, like we could bake that into the challenges in so many ways, but we'll see what we do with that in the end.
Yeah, sort of, you know, make it all the way to the end with 1000% friendly fire on.
Yeah, I'd like to see you do that. I'd like to see you do that.
So, I mean, to some extent, some of these are like they're boots, and some are things that will make things very, very difficult for you. Do you also have like an idea to maybe, because I can imagine that being thrown into a game and not knowing anything about the rules and finding out as you go what the rules of the challenge are would be fun. Is that something you're playing around with? Just random rules. You
mean like random artifacts being hey, now that you mention it, maybe we should take a look at that.
Because I think one of the things that's so great about Magicka is the unexpected. The unexpected will always happen. It's like, oh, I didn't realize I was wet, or oh, and then I didn't realize he was wet, and I was just trying to kill someone else, but it's the kind of thing.
Then the lightning went all over the place, and I killed all my friends. Whoops. Yeah. Or pushing them off the cliffs like you just did here, all of you.
Yeah, I don't think I needed a push really. It's the levels are also designed to sort of encourage. Maybe you will be walking off a cliff once or twice.
Could be.
No. So yeah, but one of the other things that you mentioned, I mean, it's so easy to talk about the gameplay because there's so many layers to Magicka, as we know. But one of the things you mentioned is that the game sort of delves deeper into the world of Midgård. Can you tell us a little bit about how you've gone about sort of approaching the world in this game?
Well, PC Interactive did their homework on reading up on Midgård. They did a lot of the DLCs for Magicka 1, and they wanted to have an extra Norse approach, I know. So they studied up basically, and this time around you'll get to meet some people you have not met before. You'll see some corners of Midgård you have not seen before. We've always had the ambition, like Midgård is not just your generic fantasy world, it's your generic fantasy world with, you know, a whole lot of Norse mythology in there. So you'll see that on the names of character, you'll see that on some myths, you'll see that on the type of monsters we shows. It's Norse, you know, it's made in Sweden after all.
All right. So that is, we're keeping it sort of vague right now. Any sort of concrete things that you can talk about or tease?
I'd really like you to discover the world, but you'll meet some peoples you have not met before. I'll leave you at that.
All right. Okay. And not any gods, just people, ordinary folks.
Who says the wizards aren't gods?
That's true. We don't know what's under the hood. So.
Yeah, people ask me that. Are like, are you ever going to make female wizards? I'm like, hey, how do you know they're not all female? Really? Like,
It's the way they walk.
it's the way they walk, right? Well, the possibilities are endless, and we're not going to tell.
So, other than that, sort of, how's the project progressing? I mean, you've obviously made strides from when we last saw it, but what's sort of been the focus here, and how's work going?
Focus has always been to enhance what is great about Magicka. What people really like is that unique mixing of spells. You mix spells, you make your own spells, and we want to make that, since that is the core experience. I mean, you remove that, and there's no Magicka. So we polish that to bits, make sure it's the best it can be. And then with the artifacts, of course, it's the same thing. You combine up to 6 different artifacts. And truth be told, we don't know what happens with some combinations because there are just too many. I mean, say there are 50 artifacts and then mesh them together. So the polish has been, or the focus has been on polishing up that core experience, making sure it's as good as can be.
And I guess
that comes with like making sure there are enough challenges. Look, there's no one spell that will take you through the entire game. I mean, say you meet someone with armor, maybe someone is suddenly healed by death energy. They're mixed with someone who doesn't. There might be an enemy who interrupts all your spells. I mean, they want to damage, but they interrupt you. I mean, you'll constantly be kept looking for the perfect spell for the perfect moment. That's where the energy's been at.
And I guess sort of the thing with the artifacts is that you don't really need to test every solution because some of them are kind of meant to be broken. It's not perhaps meant to be, I mean, broken in the sense that maybe it's just impossible.
Yeah, no, it's not been like designed to be broken, but yeah, we'll let you break your own game. We had some journalists in here the other day, and they found out they did 6 artifacts that just it was impossible for them to survive past 5 seconds. They loved it. They said, "This is insane. Let's do it again." But if that's your cup of tea, who am I to say no? You're playing my game wrong. You can't do this. I mean, who are we to say how you play your game? You can do that.
Yeah, it was truly interesting to we kind of chickened out and had some buffs instead of all harsh ones, but it certainly gets difficult when you get to the later phases and you have to sort of revive each other, and then you die, and then the next one can run around and revive the next, and then it's sort of you sort of play it like a relay almost.
Yeah, it gets really difficult, and that's also the idea. I mean, not everything becomes easier or harder with an artifact. Some just makes it very different. I mean, teleporting on a kill, you teleport to the location of the guy you killed. Is that a buff or a debuff, or what is that? I mean, it does change your tactics. You have to change your tactics, and it makes the game really interesting.
And you know, if you're doing area of effect attacks, you don't really know what to plan for then, because you don't know exactly what direction you will be teleporting in, and you have to keep track of yourself.
Yeah, it certainly gets interesting. Then you might have friends who might be pushing you around. Possibilities really are endless. I'm really excited to see this coming out. I mean, both on the PC, see what people share on YouTube and such, but also with the PlayStation 4 with the sharing abilities. I'm sure we will see game modes that we never thought of. I'm sure we will see combinations that we never thought of, and we'll be so excited.
Did you ever think about maybe making the artifacts individual choices? So each wizard would make his own choices, and then you would mix match and see, you know.
Oh, that's a headache. That's a headache. So many possibilities.
Yes, but also, once again, it would be fun because you don't know what the other one has, so maybe, or you'll find out weird things.
True. But we like to give. I mean, after all, it's co-op. It's a competitive co-op. Part of sharing the experience is part of what is Magicka, and fighting over what to choose is also part of Magicka.
Oh yeah. Do you have like is the one guy deciding, or do you have a vote system, or how do you go about that?
The host is king, basically. Okay. So when you join a friend,
King Wizard.
Yeah, King Wizard. When you join a friend, you'll be able to say, "Oh, he's playing with all these artifacts. I don't know if I dare." Well, sure, I'll do it.
And I guess what's interesting about it is also because it sort of adds so much replayability to the campaign as well, because it's gonna sort of constantly reinvent itself.
Definitely. Really, if you're going to play, say a boss, you find him too easy, well then turn on regeneration. Let him regenerate 500 HP a second. Then see how easy he is. I mean, you can make endless challenges on your own. You can challenge your friends to do that too. And it really does change the game. I mean, you really do have to change tactics. It's not just that it's harder or easier. There are so many ways. I mean, say there's a challenge or a boss that heals, that's on fire, healing himself with fire because he's a demon, whatever. And then on top of that, you make fire more powerful this playthrough, or weaker, or so many. It really does reinvent itself. You can never see all that Magicka 2 can be in one playthrough.
No, certainly not. Doesn't sound like it. So what's the road ahead now? Have you sort of a date in mind, or when you want to be ready, or?
Truth is, and I told this at Gamescom too, this is a passion project for us. We're not the kind of publisher that releases a game just to like, oh, this looks like we could make a lot of money right now. We want to make it as great as it can be, and that's when it'll ship. Right now we're looking for Q2, so not too far off. And we're very excited about it.
Right. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Magicka 2, learn to spell again.